God, wrong folder.
Last we left off, everyone, the group had arrived at the small city of Arldusk, in the country of Thrain, the holy lands of the Silver Flame. They'd saved a little bit of time traveling here by hitching a ride in a cart of two farmers, who let them off near the smaller tent towns outside of Arldusk. Now, after a short adventure into the tent cities occupied by shifter tribes, and having a run-in with an interesting character who seemed to be living amongst them, chaos broke loose, as it does every time we play D&D. And a mad chase began between the shifter clans, the homeless. The group attempted to try to hitch a ride onto a lightning rail out of town, decided against it, and ran into the city of Arldusk as the guards had all been occupied by the chaos going on in the tent cities. Now, as the group ran through the town, they were encountered by a couple more of the Silver Flame's city guard. One of which, who happened to be a little bit higher rank than the Silver Flame member in your party, recognized him and escorted the group in its entirety towards the chapel here, the cathedral led by a very important bishop of the Silver Flame. Now, as that's happening, upon getting off the cart before the gates of Arldusk, Zyxx.
Yeah.
Something needed your attention as you were getting off the cart. Something you needed to do alone. Are you ready to be thrown under the bus?
Sure.
What was it?
Oh, man. Well, I think that there is a message drop-off within the city.
Okay.
And so I ran away to write a small letter in which I handed to an owl who flew into a well, was swallowed by a crocodile, and that went all the way back to my hometown to report on my findings.
Fantastic. I like all of that.
Okay.
Now, let's say this happens. You're outside the city gates still. What would you do?
All my friends are inside?
You're not sure.
Oh, I don't know. I guess we didn't set up a time and a place to meet, like at Disneyland before cell phones?
You scuttled off like Zyxx has done a couple other times.
Yeah,
so
it does do that.
Why don't you make a retrospective perception check to see how much you were able to perceive going on, because they did spend a lot of time outside the gates as well.
Okay. So that's a 12.
A 12. Wonderful. So, as you were doing this, in fact, we'll say that there is a sewer system that does run out of the town's walls into a little bit of like a pretty gross ravine over here.
Mm-hmm.
And there are bars leading into the sewer system, which you assume runs into and underneath the city of Arldusk. And that is where your letter, your message, and your drop-off was. Now, upon coming back to the front gates, knowing that you could try to access the city from the sewer system as well. It's not something that you're above or beneath. As you come back around to peek, to reconvene with your group, you see your group hurriedly rushing into the front gates, where Silver Flame guards are running all over the place in the higher up tent towns, the ones that look a little bit more tribal a little bit more elaborate and less run down, and shifters running all over the place. There's guards on top of the large rock overlooking the tent town as well, and it looks like there was some kind of a riot or something going on, and you see your group enter into the town, which right now the front gate does not have guards at them. They all seem to be occupied with chaos going on the left-hand side of the road.
And that's the gate into the city?
Correct.
Okay. I think I'll take my opportunity and just stay low to the ground, but like dash and run in there as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Hopefully be sneaky about it, I guess.
Sure. Go ahead and make a stealth check then. And you've had Darrow accompany you through some of these towns in Thrain and through Ondare?
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. And so immediately you're hit with this city that looks completely like 90% human, and it kind of washes back over you that you are not necessarily the most accepted person in this part of the world.
That's right.
And you, but there are no guards here at the front gate. And as you enter in, and a little bit more conspicuously than you like, kind of turn the corner and back up against the inside of the walls in the town, you're actually, not a lot of eyes are on you, because a lot of eyes are on your group, who you see now is being escorted by 3 Silver Flame members, one of them looking very important, and they are being escorted north to a large cathedral. And you don't have to make a roll to know that they look like they're in trouble.
There's Darrow. I know he caused all this. Okay. Is there, like, not a guard, I guess, but can I go a little further in? I'll follow their route. And then is there a merchant or something? And I can be like,
there's people everywhere. As you enter in fact, I can swap this to and from because I didn't anticipate this to be the start, but let's do this.
I do like the burst the walls option, so in the stream chat, so thank you.
This is a very lively trading town. In fact, it seems like with all the stuff that you've encountered, traveling, the time you spent at Fort Orethon, it seems like there's a bubble around the city, and inside, trade, events, people are all happy. Life is kind of going on as usual. There's a little bit of a hush around the areas where your group had been escorted. In fact, you even see, as they're escorted north, somebody around the Gold Dragon Inn throws a tomato at Marstone and it hits him in the face. And he doesn't react, and they keep marching on. But yeah, there are merchants nearby. Yep. There's someone like that has a very large fruit and vegetable stand right beside this large statue of a woman holding a sword and a shield.
Okay. Do I recognize this statue, this woman?
Make a history check.
Just rolling straight intelligence, 17.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, this is the paladin that the Silver Flame revere. This would be it. The name Tira comes to mind.
Fruit and vegetable vendor. A word, please.
As you approach the vendor, there are 3 or 4 other people all kind of yelling at this woman, this human woman. She has brown hair kind of tied back, and she is going back and forth, grabbing bags, throwing stuff into bags. I need you to make a any charisma-based checks. Persuasion, performance, anything like that to try to get her attention. As there's people like, yeah, 2 oranges too, and taking 2 of those apples and 3 of those apples.
An 18. So I say, yeah, I'm a funny-looking goblin that smells like shit. Pay attention to me.
There's a double take from the woman throwing vegetables in the bag, and then she hands the bag off to one of the people, and then makes eye contact with you again, and slowly comes over to you. You hear another human off to the side, a younger redheaded woman, who says, "Hey, I'm next!" She waves her off and like comes over to you.
Very nice.
Leans down and says, "You're a bit far from home, aren't you?"
Oh, quite far, yes.
What can I do you for?
Well, I noticed that I wanted to partake of the mob mentality where we're all throwing fruits and vegetables at those people that were walking by. But before I jump into that mentality of the mob, what exactly did they do that has everyone so upset?
Your common is very good.
Oh, thank you. I was an exchange student in Comnandia where I picked up the lingo.
Yeah, okay. You see, as she's talking to you, she's bagging other groceries for other people and like handing them off and taking gold. And still just making eye contact with you. It looks like this is just day in the life for her. Busy shopkeeper.
Very good at your job. Look at you. I mean, wow.
She blushes a little bit. Thank you. You know what? Are you hungry?
Well, yeah, I could eat.
She goes and grabs a tomato that is red and green and spotted almost like a cow's hide is spotted. Just red and green colors. And she reaches down and hands it to you.
Oh, thank you. What kind of delicacy is this?
Oh, this is one of Walden's spotted tomatoes.
All right.
Taste it, it's delicious.
Yeah, and I'll take a bite.
Yeah.
Nom.
It's sweet.
That's my bite noise.
Yeah. Nom. It's sweet, almost like processed candy is sweet.
Oh, is this like magically
juicy.
Made? I mean, this is really tasty.
She says, no. If you want magical fruit, you might be able to find some over on Market Way. But no, I mostly just do, surprisingly, that's a very healthy fruit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyway,
kids love it.
You are absolutely so much, if you don't mind me being frank, so much sweeter than any of the goblins I've ever heard about or read about. So, I'll tell you what. What information did you say you needed to know? Some people that walked by?
Yeah, I was curious about those. People were throwing tomatoes at them. They seem like they're kind of an unruly bunch.
The only unruly bunch I've seen today was a very young Silver Flame member and escorting one of those Warforged. And and actually, now that you mention it, it looked like a emissary from Karnath was with them as well. That's probably the cause of the fruit throwing that you might have saw. I didn't see it. I've been quite busy, but I did notice the group. Yes.
Oh, so not a big fan of Karnath here then.
Oh no.
Oh, is it the
undead
thing? Are they undead? I forget. Am I thinking of the right house?
So, make another history check. Even though I watched your video to learn about it.
It's a 19. I clearly know this.
Yeah, so Karnath, super famously begun to win the last war towards the end because they were using undead soldiers to rebolster their ranks. And it was considered, pretty dirty play. Not only that, they committed many war atrocities that were very let's just say unsportsmanlike in war, and they razed down a town just north of here, actually, pretty famously.
And a forest.
And an entire forest, yeah, and then There's like rumors that they didn't even like leave it. Like they just left a bunch of undead there to occupy it and aren't claiming responsibility for it. And so they were basically Thrain's #1 rival during the war, and they're considered very, very, very much enemies of the state. Even after the treaty, there is still a lot of bad blood between the two countries.
Well, my wonderful fruit seller, that young Silver Flame kid over there, he seems like he's part of this whole shebang. Why is he being dragged away with those dirty Karnath people?
Gosh, I don't know. The Silver Flame is just here to protect the city and make sure everything runs well and make sure that all of us are able to receive the burning bright light of the Silver Flame each and every morning.
Yes.
What was your name, by the way? I'm Peach.
Your name is Peach.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a princess?
Well, you've
just so beautiful.
You've already made me blush once today, my green friend.
All right, my name is Mario. Yeah.
That's a splendid name for a goblin.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Mario.
It was my grandfather's dog's name.
I'll tell you what. Come again soon. If you need anything, and if you get in any trouble, tell them Peach said you're all right. And she gives you a little rosy wink and says, I need to get back to work, though.
I will give her a very obvious wink.
Okay.
Like it's super awkward.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably run after my friends and say, thank you very much for the delicious fruit.
Yeah, she puckers her lips up a little bit and nods and smiles as if to recognize that, yes, it was a very awkward wink, but she still thinks it's cute. She goes back, and there's now a line of 10 or 15 people all like staring kind of at you as you walk away as if you caused the holdup, and she gets straight back to work. She claps her hands together, dusts herself off, and starts bagging fruit like a champ. Now, we will cut back to Gabriel. So, Gabriel, as you enter in to the grounds of this large chapel in the corner of Arldusk, beautiful trees landscaped all around the building. The two guards that stand at this opening, there's not even a solid gate. There's two guards that stand here along these large pillars with silver and white, porcelain and pearl, and 20-foot walls in a circular archway lining the outside of the temple grounds. When you cross the threshold past the guards and into the cathedral area, your boots stop hitting dirt and they feel the crunch of this brilliant, almost pearl white gravel on the ground that crunches as you start to move across it. The chapel ahead of you, golden in some areas, bronze, glimmering, shining. Between each of the towers constructed on either side of the cathedral, there are small waterfalls dripping down into small pools. Large double doors made of some kind of metal with stained glass just above it. Not in multiple colors, but in silvers, whites, golds, bronzes. And you see a silhouette of a shield and a sword and the face of a woman meshed into all of the stained glass just above these huge double doors. At the back, as you're walking by, you see that there is a large ornate fountain and an enormous 40-foot tall monument of some kind at the back of whatever this monastery is. You're led into the double doors, and as they're pushed open, after you go past 2 guards, 4 guards, all wearing same Silver Flame attire, maybe a little bit more official, a little bit more expensive looking. As the doors open and you enter into this beautiful cathedral, there's a large statue of Tira at the back where you would consider a pedestal or throne might have been. A large entryway area tapering off into two paths left and right with staircases, beautiful red carpets, and silver, bronze, and gold everywhere. There are fountains in here as well. You can hear like the slight rush of water as it's constantly flowing and hitting different pools and different areas. And everything, all the solid surfaces mean that there's quite a bit of echo in here as well. You hear the footsteps and bootsteps of all the different Silver Flame people. And your companions are brought down the right wing. As Bishop Maelis motions for you to follow him, to stay in the main chamber. At this point, is everyone still being compliant, or would you like to do anything different?
I'm kind of like struggling a little bit, pretending I'm tough, like I've been to prison before, but I'm still being pretty compliant, just obnoxious.
Okay.
I'm gonna look over to the group if anybody's like looking back over to me. I'm not sure.
I imagine there's some concern if you're being split. I imagine everyone's trying to get some cues from each other.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give like a reassuring, nod to him, cut him out. He'll be okay.
Yeah,
Give a
K1 as well? Sorry.
Solitary nod in return, and then just like continue on.
Do we know where we're heading?
Do you?
Nope.
You're being
Which
led
way,
by
I mean?
3 Silver Flame Templars.
Which way? Inside? We inside the cathedral, or just he?
It looks like Gabriel and this bishop and some other guards are staying in this main area, this what's on screen right now. You are being led down the right path.
Yeah, I'll just follow. I mean, I'm just looking around, taking in such expensive architecture where some of my people were sitting in dirt. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's extravagant. It's nothing like... Actually, K1, perhaps you have seen something like this before. Make a history check.
Oh, wow. In history. Ooh. That's a natural one for a 4.
So, it's new to you like a shiny new toy is to a child. Everything is just new and amazing, and you don't know what anything does, but it looks ornate. It looks purposeful. Not only that, a lot of stuff looks magical as well, in some way or another. It's a very stark contrast with the city outside. The only comparison you could make is on the city outside, a lot of the street corners tend to have these street lamps that are similar to the pillars outside the cathedral and are lit with a brilliant silver magical flame. But otherwise, architecturally, the cathedral for the Silver Flame is above and beyond anything. There's nothing as intricate and beautiful about the city as this cathedral. So as you're led to the right, Gabriel. The bishop waits for your group to kind of get out of sight as you notice they're taken down the right hallway and then down a set of spiral stairs that are very wide, regal spiral stairs leading downwards. And Bishop Maelis turns to you, and there he is. And you notice this older, thin, white, silvery-haired elf in front of you, wearing a pendant of the Silver Flame. make a perception check for me.
Sure. That is a
Ooh.
19.
You notice that there's something very special about this pendant that this elf is wearing around his neck. And as you look closer, you realize that the thing that's striking you is that it looks like the pendant is burning his skin. And Bishop Maelis turns to you, Gabriel, and says, Gabriel Brightvale, I assume that is you.
It is.
That's both wonderful and a bit of a tragedy. You seem to have been through quite a bit since you left Traylin.
I'm not the only one, though.
Go on.
Well, I probably wouldn't be standing here without my companions.
And were those your companions?
They are.
Well, I'm keen to figure out why they have become as such. However, there are some things that I must know, and you must know. First of which being, you've done quite a good job. You see there's a face upon him that says he's forcing himself to say this, whether he feels it or not. But I must ask you one more question. Do you know why you were sent down to the Orethon Keep?
To be honest, no.
Very well. Now I realize why they sent you. While you were down there, did you happen to see anyone else from the Silver Flame?
Not particularly. I heard somebody came by, but left, and then there was somebody off in the distance watching our group. But
That was the Silver Flame?
I can only assume.
Well, I wouldn't say that this isn't a not particularly answer. I'd say that you particularly did see something. But you did not make contact with this person, did you not?
No, they were... Well, when they reached the front gate, they were already gone by the time I went down there, and it seemed that once we noticed them off in the distance, they took off by horse.
How old are you, child?
20?
He folds his arms and kind of looks out to the back of the cathedral where there's more white-stained glass windows. Sun kind of beaming through them, causing some rays to form. She does work in mysterious ways, doesn't she? Well, I hate to break it to you, and actually you're maybe pleased or not pleased to hear that you were sent down there simply to intercept this person. It seems that the rumors were true, and that there is indeed someone trying to uncover information for or from the state of Thrain, the Silver Flame themselves, and impersonating one of our own. I'm sure that's why you weren't given much information about your mission. Just to keep everything neutral. But the only thing left to do is to find this imposter. But Unfortunately, I have new orders for you. Reaches into his bag. Pulls out an envelope that's sealed with red wax stamped into it, the symbol of the silver flame. And he hands it out to you.
I take it and look at it.
Before you take it, he pulls it back. And he says, but before that, I have orders for you. And as your region's bishop, I expect you to be in service of the Silver Flame and follow them. And he looks at both of the guards, and then he starts walking down the left corridor. And the guards kind of look at you as if to guide you to follow.
I follow him.
Okay. We cut down the stairs as your group is led down this spiral staircase and into another hall. This long hall has a bunch of rooms. Looks like maybe about 8 on each side and 1 at the end. You're all escorted to one of the open spaces. And something very, very interesting about these rooms and the doorways is that there are no physical doors on these doorways, or in these archways. But you notice some of them are open, and some of them are closed off by a wall of silver flame, kind of burning and flickering in a vertical position. And you're all escorted into one of these rooms. And inside one of these rooms, K1, Darrow, and Marstone, they turn to you and say, one of the guards, let me turn off Bishop. One of the guards turns to you and just says, as soon as everything is figured out, someone will come for you. Until then, just wait in here. And they leave the room. And 4 magical silver flames on the roof shine down to produce light magically. And as they leave, a vertical door of silver flame closes upwards like an upside-down portcullis and burns in place, obscuring your view of outside the room. What do you do?
Is the floor relatively clean? Is there anything on it?
It is, for you, Marstone, unreasonably clean for a holding cell. Unreasonably, especially from Karnath. Like, this is, you see that there are elevated beds hanging off the walls. There's 4 of them in here. Mm-hmm. There's even, like, a privy in the corner that looks like it's made of porcelain. And the walls have slight etches in them that you're not sure if you recognize or not. But they look not quite as ornate as the stuff upstairs, but they'll do as a stonework wallpaper for a holding cell for the Silver Flame.
Okay. I look around on the ground for something to kick and see nothing, and so I just basically scuff my boot on the floor as though I'm kicking something. And I say, "Blunted! I didn't realize we'd be held in a cell."
Did they take our weapons?
You have everything that you have in your inventory, including you, Darrow.
Okay. These people don't seem very friendly. They were supposed to be good people, according to Gabriel.
In Gabriel's eyes, they are. And while
They are not yours.
They are not technically still my enemies, but at one point, they were.
Are we
Guys,
to escape?
I have an idea.
Oh no.
I look over at Darrow.
I reach into my bag and pull out my stick and just wave it around.
Do you
See if
have
it
your
does
stick?
Anything? Yeah, I think so.
You have everything that you guys have in your inventories right now.
Wait, do I not have my stick?
Frantically checks inventory.
I should have my stick.
Is there anything that you guys would like to do as you're kind of like checking yourselves?
Is there anything on the roof other than these 4 flames shining
Nope,
down?
4 magically lit silver flames.
Mm-hmm. And you said we cannot see through the
Correct.
flame.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like a real fire, but silver.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to use a part of the cloth that I'm wearing to just kind of try and wipe the crud off my neck from the tomato.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just to be sure, cool, I still have my gun on me. That's correct.
You
right?
have whatever's in your inventory.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you gotta look in your inventory.
Yep.
As like a little protest, I flick the tomato stuff on the ground,
Yeah, it smears
Almost-
almost like blood.
almost like a little bit satisfied that it's not so freaking
Yeah.
pristine in here anymore.
Yeah, it looks way messier than it is because the rest is so clean.
I'm gonna check under the beds. I understand they are against the walls, suspended.
Yep.
But
And you
on
look
the
under the
ones-
beds, and to your surprise, there's actually 4 storage chests underneath as well.
Oh. All right. May as well start opening them since we have time to kill.
Okay, K1, you can roll me an investigation check.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna sit on the bed that he's not looking under, and I'm just gonna kind of chew on the stem of my pipe, even more agitated that I wasn't able to get any of the tobacco.
18 on the roll.
18. Nice. You start looking through the chests, and you know the first 2, you're not surprised. They're empty. They've been cleaned out. Third one, you open it up. There's nothing in it. And the 4th bed, you actually go underneath Marstone, sitting on his bed. You feel and see the Warforged kind of squeeze beside your legs as he goes and unlocks the storage chest. And you hear K1 kind of make a click and stop moving underneath you. You find something.
Peer over the edge to see what he's found.
Yeah, you find something. Roll a D100.
Okay. Rolling 35.
Anything else you guys would like to do? How you doing, Darrow?
I don't see my stick in my bag, but I don't remember if I ever manually added it in there.
If your stick's not in your bag, then it's not in your bag.
Guys, I don't have my stick.
How much time did you spend with the shifters outside the city?
I spent a lot of time. It was awesome.
K1, nestled in the front corner, way off to the side, snug against the inside of this box, which is also silver, there's a small green whistle. Very thin. Got a little tiny bit of like a thin rope attached to it as if to tie to something else. But yeah, small green whistle.
Okay. I'm just gonna like move off being under the bed and stand up and look at it like right next to Marstone as if tilting my head to the side, not sure of what this is. And I'm gonna extend my hand towards Marstone.
I'll take it from his fingers and kind of look it over. And while I'm saying that, or while I'm looking at it, I'm going to kind of not looking at Darrow, but I'm going to ask him, well, if your stick is missing, are you missing anything else? And then I'm going to try to figure out what the hell this is.
No, nothing that I can think of. I have a rope, though.
Did you have any money left?
No.
Do I need to roll anything to...
Sure. Justify it to me. What would you like to roll to find out more about the whistle?
So you said it's just like a small green whistle?
Uh-huh. Very thin, too. It's not like a, like a recorder. It's like a tiny, about the size of your pointer finger.
Oh, okay.
But there's clearly a mouth hole. There's clearly one hole at the top. Like, it clearly looks like a whistle. Maybe even like a children's whistle.
I'm going to look for any, like, inscriptions or anything that might be on it.
All right, make an investigation check.
Okay. 11.
11. There are some etchings, but nothing. They look artistic in design, not deliberate.
Okay. Then I'm going to kind of make brief eye contact with K1. I'm going to kind of do this with the whistle, and then I'm going to give it a little toot.
Okay. The
And
whistle
then I'll hand it back to him.
makes a very quiet but high-pitched whistle. It's not loud at all, but the sound is there. Nothing happens.
Seems to be nothing more than a whistle.
Okay. Again, since we kind of have time, I'm gonna sit in a corner, actually at the feet of the bed, where Marstone is, and I'm gonna put it in front of me, and I'm gonna start scanning it with my eyes, and I'm gonna cast as a ritual scan magic. So it's gonna take me 10 minutes to detect if this thing is magical or not.
Okay. You sit down with the whistle, start looking at it. Darrow continues to empty his pockets and his bag and look all over to make sure he's not missing anything else. And we will cut back to Gabriel. As you enter into an open meeting room, there's a large desk in a smaller but similarly designed room at the left-hand side of the cathedral, and he ushers you to sit in one of the two very fancy, ornate chairs in front of the desk, and he goes around and sits at the large chair at the back of it. Takes out
sit on the one on the left.
All right. Takes out a quill and dabs the quill in some ink and gets a fresh pad of paper out in a book nearby. And he says, I'm going to change the scene. He says, first point of business before we get to orders. I'm giving you the kind treatment, but I do need some answers. Especially now, since that you have stated that they are your companions. This Warforged that you travel with, tell me what you know about it.
The Warforged's name is K1. It came from the Mournland, and I believe it brought some of the mist with it.
His eyes kind of widen while he's still looking down at as he's writing it down. His eyes widen as you say, bringing the mist with it. Takes a deep breath and keeps writing. Continue.
My plan is to keep a close eye on him, and hopefully my prefect and Traylon can either do something about it or figure out why it's attached to him.
As you say, Prefect and Traylon, he doesn't look up, but he smiles and keeps writing. And he says, do you know which country this Warforged served?
It's unclear. He has no memory.
No memory. And the mark of make? Do you recall?
I'm not sure.
Very well. You're young.
He
You
does
do not
have
know.
a scar from Seer.
A scar from Seer.
He might have found it. At least that's what he said, anyway.
A scar?
A scarf.
A scarf.
Around his-
Yes, I did notice that. I did indeed notice that. That's, the scarf itself is uncommon, however, many Warforged after the war struggle to find their own uniqueness, their own identities, and they typically attach to certain things that help them become a little bit more unique, give them more personality, or simply they struggle. And he keeps writing. What makes you think that you know what? Moving on. Make an insight check.
Sure. I'm good at these, but bad at rolling.
Okay. It might just be the nerves of talking to a bishop who is basically the city
it's
mayor.
Like a private talking to a 2-star general.
Yeah, he's
So
big
it's
shit.
like,
Not only that, like, it's also very odd to see a non-human involved in the higher up workings of the Silver Flame. This is very odd. And he moves on and he says, and moving on to the more concerning members of your quote-unquote party. A soldier from Karnath. Would you mind telling me why you thought it would be a good idea to march him around town in his uniform? Or why you traveled with him at all?
well, I think all of these companions of mine have shown great resistance to evil, and we have faced it down. And they have faced it with little regard to their own life, while saving others. I think that shows that perhaps the Silver Flame is working through them, even though they might not come from backgrounds like us.
You know what? Make a persuasion check.
Little bit better, 18, yeah.
Hey.
Nice. He says, if you can vouch for this Karnathi soldier, then perhaps we will keep him moving along and won't hold him for very long.
If
But-
I could speak freely.
He just stares at you with one finger on the side of his face and the others in front of his chin.
I might be speaking out of line. I just feel that blind hatred that we have towards Karnathians and others, it's just going to spread more hate. This war's been over. Shouldn't we as the Silver Flame set an example? Try to move past hatred and work together to rebuild?
Well, young Templar, you said it yourself. The Silver Flame guides individuals in the efforts to quell evil. There are few things more evil than seeing your friends cut down by enemies that have been raised from the dead solely to cut down your family and your friends. Your Carnathi companion is indeed capable of facing other evils because they were quite capable at almost eradicating everyone before the war ended by whatever means necessary. And if you don't think that he's not traveling with you to get something out of it, you have a few more years to grow as a person, as a man. Because there's not one ounce of me that believes that that man dressed in Carnathi colors believes he's your companion and also serves his country. Is there anything else that you would like to speak of freely, Templar?
With all due respect, I've seen this man put his own life on the line for others. Others in Thrain. Others that serve Thrain. So when you say that he is trying to get something out of me, I don't think that's entirely correct. Now that might be correct for his countrymen who have done unspeakable acts. But it doesn't mean that all citizens are like that. At least that's what I hope to believe.
We've all seen that hope doesn't win wars. And you should also know that the person that we are looking for, the reason why you're even here, is because we suspect the person impersonating the Silver Flame is from Carnath. The only reason we don't think it's your companion is because we know and have seen the reports. We know that he was with you at Fort Orethon. It's impossible to be at two places at one time, as far as I know. But worry not, young Templar. Like I said, we will keep him on his way, not give him too hard a time, as I know he assisted you. Now, kind of drops an eyebrow. The Shifter.
I think his mind is probably
Templar, why are you traveling with a Shifter?
he's also shown considerable fortitude against evil. And also interest into the Silver Flame.
He kind of scoffs at that, like clearly rejecting the suggestion that you might have interested a Shifter in the Silver Flame.
Again, my goal within the Silver Flame is to destroy evil. It's not to judge or have preconceived notions due to anybody's past. It's what their actions.
So you do not believe that the act of lycanthropy is evil?
It depends. And Gabriel's kind of stuttering on his words at this. It's
Changelings. Taking the identity of others.
I see your point. But again, I've seen his actions. He kind of like looks up and, moves his head back and forth. He is quite dumb, but I don't think he's a harm.
Very well. And you were traveling with one other individual. At least that's what the reports say. Where is
Yes,
this?
the goblin.
He sighs.
I know it's really not a good look, but if you saw what I saw and their resistance to the evils that we saw, the goblin's a goblin. It leaves and comes back. I can't, sometimes without even me knowing. It's hard to keep track of him. He's
And he's so handsome. You just hear that, like.
something's piercing my mind.
He marks down something on the piece of paper.
I'm trying to wrangle them all, but
Why?
definitely hurting cats.
Why, Templar?
I think there's a greater purpose for each one of them. I think the Silver Flame has plans for each one of them, and I think that they can help me after what I've seen and what I've seen from them.
And what are your plans?
I saw an evil brewing under our very feet.
Continue, Templar.
Almost demonic. I don't know. But if it spawns up other places, I would rather have these companions at my side, because they've already shown their will to destroy it.
What is it, Templar? You're being quite vague. If you have information about evils in the country of Thrain, I assure you, I am the one that needs to know about them.
Has anyone reported black pools?
Black pools, no. Please, go on. Where did you find them? What did they do? Did you interact with them?
When all of us were at Orethon Keep, I guess it would be a wyvern, crossed over from the mist. We followed it north, and in an opening was a black swirling pool. It had insects marching around it. I tried to close the pool, but
He tries to... He continues listening to you, but you see him kind of lean and look behind you and kind of motion a finger for someone to come to approach. And then he kind of waves you on to continue talking.
it reacts to radiant energy. We end up going in because, like I said, it's like herding cats.
You went in.
Reluctantly.
As you say that, a guard has come over to speak with him off to the side, and they both stare at you. Even the soldier, even the other Templar, looks at you as you say that you went in. And he taps the soldier and brings him close and whispers something to the Templar. And then the Templar leaves, kind of looking at you very concerned. And he says, he leans forward on the desk and says, "And what did you find beyond the veil?"
Darkness. Fear. Dread.
How do you feel, Gabriel?
Angry. Angry that I couldn't prevent it. Angry that could be more and someone's suffering because of it.
And where did you see these things? You said in the forest just north of Orethon Keep?
That's the only one that I've come across, yes.
Very well.
But my worry is that there's more.
Perhaps there are, Templar, but you've already done quite well. I would say that you should report back to Traylin. You've already seen enough for someone your age. But that won't be necessary. And he waves in at the end of the hall. He waves at one of the guards. And a prefect walks around the corner. Unfortunately, not the one that you expected or wanted to see, but Prefect Alonso from Traylin walks around the corner and makes eye contact with you, sternly. Although not the nicest of the two, he does crack a little bit of a smile and says, "May I?" "You may. Templar, you dismissed." Continues writing something down. Prefect Alonso motions for you to come.
I stand up, put my hand over top of my symbol. Silver flame burns bright. And give a nod and head out the door.
Back down to... Actually, Zyxx, is there anything that you would like to do as you notice your group go into the cathedral quarter of Arldusk? Or is your intent to just wait for them?
If there's a window or something and I can look like I know that if I get arrested, I'm probably dead, kind of a thing. Like, why is a goblin doing X, Y, and Z in this town? So I want to be very careful. But if I can see them, I want to get to some kind of a window and see if they're in trouble.
At this point, they're past the guards, they're past the wall. There are 2 Templars standing at the entrance, and the cathedral is well within the walls. So,
okay. I will wait casually outside and hope that they come back.
Okay, whereabouts outside? There's like a residential district across the street.
Oh yeah, that's great. I'll go there.
It's like down an
if
alley.
There's a tree or an alley, or like a roof I can hide out on, that'd be ideal.
You tell me.
I'll climb a tree.
Okay.
I like nature-y things.
Perfect. There you are.
Aw,
In a
he's so
tree.
handsome.
All right. Back down in the cell.
Is the whistle magical?
The whistle does indeed have some kind of magic associated with it. Zyxx, you're still outside?
Okay.
You see birds. And then you see more birds. And then another flock of birds. And then birds from the east. And then birds from the north. And then birds from the west.
Okay.
Flocks and
Migrating,
flocks.
or was this
And
a murmuration?
flocks of birds. Hundreds of birds. And they're all zooming, not necessarily like beelining it, but you know, the leaders of these flocks are kind of twisting and turning through the air like they naturally do. But there's just a shit ton of birds all coming. They're maybe like 30 feet above you in the air, but you hear like lots of chatter in town as hundreds of birds just flock over and above the cathedral area. Tons of them. Concerning amount of birds.
A concerning amount.
Yes, like they're all different kinds of birds.
Yeah.
They're not circling or anything. There's just so many birds above town today.
Can I cast Speak with Animals and try to call one down to get some information?
Yes, you may. Make an animal handling check as well.
That's an 18 on
Oh
animal
yeah,
handling.
yeah. A sparrow zips down. What do you say? What do you say out to it to call out to it?
I never considered you a Pokemon, Sparrow. Come down here. No, sorry, I'm stupid. I cast Speak with Animals, so it can understand me, and I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So in whatever bird language it has, I'll basically say, friend of the sky, come aid me. Give me some information.
Sure. A sparrow flies by and flaps like mid-air next to the tree where you're in the tree and flaps nearby. And you just hear this voice. Like, to everyone else, it's just like, ah, ah. But to you, it's like, I've never had a friend that wasn't a bird before.
Boy, today is your lucky day, because I am going to be your friend.
All right, what are we doing?
Yeah, first of all, do you have a name? Because I really want to name you Little Darrow, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Little Darrow, why are you and your friends here today? What's going on?
We got called here.
Oh, who called you?
We don't know. We just heard the sound. It's irresistible, like a fresh worm.
Oh, I know all about irresistible worms. Very, very tasty. Okay.
Yeah. Do you
so
have any?
Are you here for some
No,
food?
I want to talk about worms. Do you have any?
Yeah,
I'm
and I probably
starving.
do. So I'll pull out a little worm and give it to her.
Oh my god.
Eats it and just gets really excited. It does like a little twist in the air and continues flapping.
Okay, well, don't go eating anything else strange. And if you feel sick, consult your bird doctor. Okay.
Okay. And then it flaps back up into the flocks. Now,
I'm gonna watch this unravel.
Yeah, it's like-
I don't really know what's happening,
Yeah.
but I'm glad I had a conversation with that bird.
yeah, even as you're hiding in the tree, you see tons of people from the city are now convening, like, they're coming over closer to the cathedral. You see them like hanging out. Some of them are even like getting on top of roofs near you, like fireworks are about to start or something. Like they're all just pointing up at it. Hundreds of birds just like flying in circles and just hovering above the cathedral. Back down to the prison.
I've begun writing in my journal to pass the time.
If we have 10 more minutes, my laser sight's gonna get focused on this whistle, and I'm gonna extend my hands around it. My hands, the tip of my fingers is gonna retract inside my hands, and my tools are gonna come out, and I'm gonna start fidgeting with it to cast Identify on it. It's gonna take me 10 more minutes.
Sure. Darrow, you doing anything besides waiting?
Nah, just waiting.
All right. There is some moments that pass. It gets to the point where, K1, you do identify the whistle. And it is I'll have to send it to you. I'll have to make a custom thing for it. But it is of druidic origin.
Ooh.
And what you identify about it that's strange is it finds the nearest animal at the moment of blowing the whistle. It finds the nearest animal and then calls hundreds of the same animal from every direction to its location. And it's some kind of druid make. It's something ancient.
Fair enough.
Everyone sees like K1 smile somehow, like on the metal face. There's a little bit of a grin as he finishes. And at this point, the silver flame at the entryway fizzles downwards and opens up to a Templar that has a little bit nicer armor. He actually has a helmet plate helmet on as well, and he steps in and he says, "You Warforged, Shifter, on your feet."
Where are we going?
You're to report upstairs. You're under the supervision of the Templar that you came in with. You're free to go.
And if we don't,
You're free to stay here.
I believe he said
we're
we
free
are
to go.
Yes.
I was messing with you, man.
I am sorry. I didn't notice you mentioning my other friend,
What other friend?
motioning towards Marstone.
No idea who that is. Never met that man in our lives. Let's go, K1.
I'm just shooting a cold gaze at the Templar, like
Yeah.
over the pages of the journal,
Yeah.
and then I shift it over slowly to Darrow as he's saying
Oh.
this.
I wink at you, like we're gonna play him.
I shake my head slowly.
He steps inside and away from the doorway and motions for you two to leave.
I am sorry. He's not living then.
He's ignoring you. He's like very English soldier on orders right now, and he's not willing to speak with you in a conversation.
I'm gonna tilt my head to a side, and I'm gonna go back to the bed and sit right next to Marstone.
Very well. Shifter, you should have no problem leaving a jail
I'm
cell.
out. I don't know these guys.
Very well.
I keep winking at them as I'm walking away, like this.
So, you're escorted out, and the Templar stays inside your cell, nods to someone outside the cell, and the silver flame goes back up in the doorway.
I slowly put the journal back into my pack.
Upstairs, Darrow, you get escorted back up, and you see Gabriel kind of like in the main area of the church, and he's talking to an older man who is dressed in a little bit heavier armor than Gabriel is, and they're in some kind of conversation. And you look around, there's like 20 or so Templars just all about, and they're all kind of eyeballing you. Marstone and K1, the Templar approaches you, specifically Marstone, and says, "You're lucky. A Templar up there seems to have taken a liking to you and has rubbed the bishop the right way. You're allowed to pass through under one condition.
What might that be?
You gotta lose the colors."
I cock my head slightly to the side.
Your tabard, your uniform, can
I
keep your
understand
armor.
What you mean?
You can get them again once you return home.
You're not taking them from me.
Then burn them. I don't care what you do with them, but you're not walking around my throne with those colors.
I take a moment and I kind of grab the tabard briefly.
Mm-hmm.
And I let it fall, and I ask, if I refuse?
I'm but a prefect here. I will simply tell the bishop that you refuse, and he will deal with you as he sees fit. And I will oblige him.
There's very clearly like a brief internal struggle going on as Marstone's eyes kind of shoot back and forth as he kind of goes over. But then he starts to kind of unclasp the, I don't know what you would call that. It's not quite a cloak. It's like a half cloak, but it's
Right.
like made out of a pelt.
Yep.
And he slips the tabard up and over the top, and he folds it neatly on the bed and stows it in his pack. And looks up at the prefect and says, I would rather walk the streets unadorned than spend another minute in this shithole town.
He nods, almost in a sign of respect. Make an insight check.
Where did they put insight? 19.
Ooh. He nods at you after you say that, and you put your tabard away. And the way he reacts to it, he almost looks sad. And then there's a moment where you realize that he served in the war too, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows how important and prideful you need to be to serve your country. And so even though he's talking the talk and walking the walk and following his orders, there's also a part of him that hurt when you had to remove your tabard. And he nods, and he steps towards the doorway, and the flame goes away. And he motions for you both to leave.
After noticing this, I kind of continue to look at him as I walk past. But I'm not like...
You could see his eyes and some of his cheek through the plate helmet.
Yeah, I'm not like mean mugging him at this point anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like an O kind of face, like I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just going to leave it at that and walk out.
Okay.
I don't understand anything that's happening, so I'm just gonna follow Marstone.
K1 truly is like the NPC that follows the main character around in like in a video game. He's just like taking it all in and is like, yeah, I'm along, I'm coming. Gabriel, there's a few moments where you get to chat with Alonso before your group reconvenes with you. He puts both of his arms on your shoulders. And to your surprise, the first thing he says to you is, Gabriel, I'm sorry.
Kind of taken aback. It's like, sorry for what?
I have to come clean. I was not happy when I learned there were orders that came down from Flame Keep for such a green young soldier to go to such a remote place for such a strange mission. I had no idea what I was actually sending you to do, and I've read the reports. How are you faring?
I'm alright.
Yeah? Just alright.
Seeing the wall put a bit of perspective on the gravity of things.
I'm sure. Even I have not seen the wall. Has the silver flame been keeping you well?
The only reason why I'm here.
Gabriel. Don't let the silver flame be your only reason for being here. Let the silver flame help you with your reason. There is more to this life than simply praying to the flame and chasing evil. Much more. I would take the opportunity now to do some soul searching. Don't return to Traylon. And start to learn who you really are. Because as much as it would please you and honor you, he puts one more hand on your shoulder, and he says, you are not your brother.
Gabriel's like, is trying to hold it in.
Yeah. He says, I may not be from or stationed in Traylon. I was simply there to give you orders and give a little bit of help to your mentor. But
I am
this...
me.
Why you?
Why not Jake?
It's a good question. But he puts another hand on your shoulder, and he says,
That's
but
3 hands.
well, he took it off of you. He didn't, like, keep it on there.
Yeah.
And he says, well, hate to break it to you, but those orders came from Jayla herself. So your guess is as good as mine.
He's like, like, he's really like taken aback and like.
He says he takes the hand off your shoulder and he says, if you need anything, I actually live here with my husband. So if you need anything, I'll be in the residential district. Just look for the Alonso sign outside the mailbox. And he smiles at you. Silver flame.
Gabriel's like wide-eyed, like still like trying to process it.
Yeah, he says, flame burn bright. And he turns around and you notice he starts to take his armor off as he leaves the cathedral. Like a guy getting off of his shift, finally.
Mm-hmm.
And then Darrow comes up the stairs and down the hall towards you, followed by the rest of your companions.
I'm gonna run up and hug him.
Marstone looks to be in a very sour mood, and his eyes are kind of downcast.
Yeah, Darrow, when you give Gabriel a hug, his arms are like limp, and he's like looking past you, like he looks bewildered. It's basically the president of the United States has gone, hey, can you go do this for me? Like, or get this guy to go do this, you know, and that's what it's like. You're just like, what?
That is why initially Alonso was so irritated by giving you the order, is because he probably wanted responsibility like that, and it was just given to you. And K1 comes up, and Marstone is not wearing his tabard.
Yeah, I don't even notice it right this minute.
Yeah,
Sure.
he's in another space.
Sure. Sure.
I kind of just
Damn, bro.
shake out of it. Hey. I hope you were treated well.
These
All of
are
you?
your people. Are they supposed to be good people?
I think they think they are, and I think they try to do best for the lands that they're in. You have to
What about the
understand.
people outside their walls, dying from starvation or filthy? Those are not their lands.
I guess technically they are.
From the entrance, the double doors of the cathedral, you see a Templar kind of lean in and yell into the cathedral. Hey! You guys seen all these birds?
They're like, is that skylight there? Would we see them through that?
You look up.
Circling.
You look up, and you can... There's almost like a strobe effect with the sunlight because of how many birds are blocking. So it's almost like, like when you have a crystal in a semi-lit room and it spins and it's like a kaleidoscopy kind of thing. Like it's disco balling a little bit because of how many birds are flying above you. So many different kinds of birds. Almost like white seagulls and gray birds and colorful birds, and they're all in these huge flocks swirling and swimming through the air around each other.
I'm gonna put my hand on Marstone's shoulder and like press a little bit and motion towards the door to get out of here.
I'll
And
be out
while,
there in a minute.
while we're walking, I'm gonna look towards him and offer him the whistle and nod at him, like, do it again.
I'm like looking up at the window, just completely entranced by what I'm seeing as his hand hits my shoulder, and as we start to walk, I look over and I take it and I look at him kind of confused. What am I supposed to do with this?
Whatever you did before, it
And I
seems it had some sort of effect. Do it again. It will bring you a smile.
I kind of slowly bring it to my lips and I give it another little toot.
It makes the same sound. Where are you guys located?
Outside the gates, I'm guessing that's
You're,
where I
all right,
brought
so
him.
you're leaving the cathedral, leaving the
Yes,
monastery.
yes, we are.
Okay,
I was
Roger
gonna say,
that.
I would have blown it like right before we get to the front door.
Okay. Let's do... Okay. Darrow, are you joining them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, at this point too, Zyxx, you start to see from the cathedral in the courtyard and the white stone path that leads out, you see 3 of your companions come out, one of them holding a whistle, and you hear like this very, very, very faint whistle noise, but it's so soft in the distance. You look above you guys, and there are easily 200 birds all flying around in like a cloud of colors, causing like I said, like a kaleidoscope of shadows over the cathedral, and Templars are all kind of looking up at it. When you blow the whistle, nothing changes. K1, I probably should have said this before and you identified, but it's once every long rest. Works once every day.
That would have changed what I just said, but no worries.
I look at K1 confused again.
I'll tell you what, Marstone, make an animal handling check.
Okay. For some reason, that's good.
Let's
Probably
make the
because
item a
horses.
little bit more interesting. 14?
14. Yep.
A blue jay flies down from a small flock of blue jays and tweets and lands on your ram skull and just stands there and cocks its head a couple ways and tweets.
I am puzzled by this.
After you blow the whistle.
Not floored, but puzzled by
Yes.
this. And I look back to K1. Kind of like, what is this?
He's looking at you, kind of not understanding what's happening for the last few hours. He's seen you change your demeanor so many times from puzzled to now sad. So he's like watching you with a different gaze now, like tilting his head to one side to the other, trying to grasp what's happening as you ask him that. It seems to have magical properties. It will call to the first animal it finds and call all of their families to your position.
All right. You better be careful with this then.
Almost on cue, as you say, you better be careful. The blue jay flies from your shoulder back up to its pack, and then there's oohs and ahs from the town. As almost like fireworks themselves, all the flocks of birds seem to snap out of it at the same time, and all in groups kind of explode in the air in every direction and fly away, almost looking like fireworks themselves as all these birds just dart in all sorts of directions. And everyone kind of just points and oohs and ahs from the rooftops and from the streets and looks, and then starts to go about their business in town again.
Is there a chain or a string or anything from this whistle, or is it just the whistle itself?
No, there's a tiny thing of string attached to it. It almost has like just this home whittled toy vibe to it.
Okay.
Back in the cathedral real quick, Gabriel, what did you want to do before exiting?
I wanted to go to Bishop Malus's office.
Sure. So there are two guards standing in the hall leading back over to the office. You can clearly see Bishop still at his desk writing stuff and talking to another Templar. But the two Templars look at you before you're able to enter, and they kind of reach a hand out to stop you.
I forgot to retrieve a letter that he had for me.
Make a persuasion check. Ooh.
Why are every time I roll persuasion, it's always low.
Good rolls and bad rolls lead to interesting story.
Yeah.
So the Templar holds a hand up, and maybe both these Templars probably look like they're a little bit more outfitted, higher rank than you, certainly older, and they say, "If the bishop has a letter to give you, as long as you're here in Old Dusk, he'll find you. He's busy right now."
Fair enough. I'll take my leave.
They nod.
And I'll head up.
Okay, so as you guys enter out into the street.
And if you guys look back, like this, like I am poised, like I'm like, holding composure. But like the second I get out of like there, if they look back at me, I'm like, like a very breath of fresh air and kind of just a nervous exhale.
Zyxx, you see them all exit the cathedral grounds.
Oh, thank God.
Also, Gabriel, you're level 4 now.
Oh!
Let's go.
So Zyxx, are you gonna go meet up with them?
Absolutely.
All right. Down the street, you see someone semi-sneaking up to you, and it is a very familiar, small sight. It is your friend Zyxx, who has managed to also come into Arldusk.
Friends, I am so glad you are alive.
Where have you been?
What if I told you a better question is, when have I been? No, I'm just kidding. I can't time travel. No, I was running some errands, and I'm here now, though. Why were you guys... Where were you?
Darrow picks you up and hugs you, Zyxx.
Oh, yeah, down. Okay, thank you. I miss you, too.
You've missed an incredibly eventful morning.
I see.
Let's go to the Gold Dragon Inn and get some food, and then we can catch up.
A good
I
plan.
like the sound of food.
And you guys leave the cathedral and go out into Arldusk. And as long as you're in the supervision of the Templar here, you have the good blessings of the bishop and will not be bothered by the rest of the Templars. Welcome, finally, to Arldusk. Let's go ahead and do this. Ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba-bum. All right, so as the townspeople are all over the place, Marstone now with his tabard off, looking just like a brute, but an adventurer. The intention is to head into the Gold Dragon Inn?
Yeah.
Awesome. As you guys leave, I need all of you to make perception checks.
It's better now. 8.
20, dirty.
14.
20, dirty.
Nice.
I'm like,
19.
Nice.
nice.
Okay.
I'm like looking around at all of the citizens, like making sure nobody's holding anything, like they're gonna throw it or.
Yeah, you kind of feel like, yeah, no one, you're not nearly getting the attention that you were with the colors and the tabard on.
Yeah.
In fact, you're pretty sure that unless you meet that one guy again, no one is gonna know. It was so brief. Your entrance into the city happened so fast. It was so brief. Such a small area. So let's go down the list here. So we got perception checks. Gabriel, you are still shook as fuck by what just happened. You're just looking down and like repeating the words in your head and rewinding time back to Traylin to like imagine that that's what happened, and it's blowing your mind. So Darrow, for 14, you're still patting yourself down a little bit. You're missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff. So the first thing on your mind is like, you probably gotta go shopping for something soon or figure out what to do. Also, you notice, Darrow, that for 14, there is one other shifter in this city that you see from this angle. There's a shifter that seems to be working in the stables just to the north of the Gold Dragon Inn, and look like they're pretty well dressed. So, K1. Actually, we'll go up the line because I want to give everybody something. So Zyxx for a 19. For a 19, you look back and notice that Peach seems to be having an argument with a man back at her fruit stand. For a 20,
Little love triangle.
20 K1 is, let's see, what would be really good information for you, K1? Oh, perfect! Rubs hands together. You guys all hear the sound of the lightning rail leaving the station to go north. as you hear the whistle and the horn. Smoke billow out from the other side of the walls, and the sound of crackling electricity in the distance as the train leaves. K1, make a wisdom saving throw.
13.
13? Okay. The sound of the train echoes in your mind, almost bouncing off the metal walls of your head. And you blink, and you get one frame, like being shown a picture. And the thing that you notice about this one picture, this one image, is that you can see another train leaving away from you. A station that is completely outdoors. And you see the hand out in front of you. And just before your vision comes back, you see the scarf that you're wearing. And then you come back too.
So the hand in front of me is mine, like this?
Interpret it however you want. So,
shit.
Marstone,
Okay.
for a 20, you look around, and you notice you're not getting as much bad attention. But the last thing you look at holds your attention.
Okay.
You look up at this gate up here to the northeast. A heavily armored man. Dark armor, dark gray armor. On a horse that looks familiar, is leaving the gate and going northeast.
Okay.
And you guys all head into the Gold Dragon Inn.
Before we head in,
Okay.
I'm kind of gonna stop the group
Okay.
away from people
Okay.
and go, okay. It took some convincing, but we need to just lay low. Don't shift. I'm looking at Darrow. Don't shift into anything. And I look over at Marstone, and I see he's not wearing his colors, and there's a little bit of sadness to him. It's like, I'm sure they've already told you.
I have been informed. I look like a grumpy kid that was just out in the rain and is now soaking wet, sulking.
If it's any consolation, I tried.
It is some.
Beside you, you can hear through your quiet conversation, you realize halfway through, you don't really need to be quiet because there is yelling and people all over the place. There's a group of humans behind you, one half elf, and they're all gossiping.
Careful.
Yeah, you hear beside you, there's a woman shouting like, "Come see my jewelry! It's beautiful! You won't find jewelry anywhere else in Thrain that's as good as this!" And then you hear from behind the Gold Dragon Inn, someone, "Park your horses here! Wagons and trolleys!" And there's just the murmur of people everywhere. There's an ambience to it. Yeah.
I love it. As long as we don't cause commotion, we'll be fine here. All of us. So let's keep our heads low. Let's enjoy some rest. I think we've deserved it. I think a little bit of indulgence is what we need.
Excellent. I'm gonna go grab some beer. Lots of drinks.
All right, so we heading into the Gold Dragon Inn?
Yep.
All right. As you go to enter, a man with a boy on his shoulders comes out, and the boy's just like, "That was so cool!"
Oh, yeah. It'd be as they're walking in, I go, oh, and I guess they'll find out.
And then they walk out, and you guys walk in to this very large 2-story building. On the inside, it is a huge cafeteria-like hall. Stairs on either side of the large room that go up to a second floor. You can see that there is a hallway and rooms hovering up above with a balcony looking down on this huge cafeteria-like center. Everything is golds and reds, and there are a bunch of people sitting at a bunch of the tables. But the first thing you notice is that 2 small raptors, dinosaurs, are going around table to table, and people, children, and adults are feeding them a little bit of their food, petting them, as you see 2 halflings at the back bar counter serving people and jumping around back and forth. A slight sound of music coming from somewhere, although you do not see any bards around.
That is so cool.
Do I remember if it's like seat yourself or there's like a...
Yeah, it's one of those things where you order at the bar and then do whatever you want.
Okay. So I will walk up to the bar.
All right. And as you guys all walk towards the bar, you sense the shining of light above you, and you look up. In the ceiling, there is a magical rune glowing in the shape of a dragon, and the rune's shape shifts as the dragon seems in like 2D, seems to shift, look towards your direction, and open its mouth, and fire breathes down in like an illusion. As it kind of showers over you, just like this semi-invisible light, and everyone around kind of goes, oh. And you head up, and you see there's 2 halflings that look like they're twins. And they're just going around trying to serve people. A couple humans at the bar with coin in their hand, waiting to trade it for food and beer.
Do I see Bulldog?
You do not see Bulldog, who is a human. He was a server here the last time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do not see him. You do recognize the halflings though from last time.
I guess I'll just wait my turn.
Marstone kind of stomps up to the bar.
All right, you got it. One of the halflings approaches you. Hello, weary traveler. What can I get for you?
A nightwood ale and a hot meal, please.
I think we haven't had anybody ask for a nightwood ale in a while, but yeah, what would you like for the food?
Anything with meat. I'm
Do
starved.
you like fish?
Ah, Gabriel.
Oh, thank you.
I never
remembering.
Of course, I never forget a handsome face. Will you be having the usual?
Yes, sheep's head with vegetables, please.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll bring some out for bring a family platter. Anything else? Notice you brought a few more friends with you.
Yes. I'm not sure what they would like to eat. They have a kind of addressing the group. They have a very wide variety of food here. Quite good too.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you offer to buy me something? Is that what I heard? I mean, what should I try? Like,
I mean,
Gabriel, come on. It's your buddy Zyxx.
I'll take care of the rest.
Would you like to see a menu?
Yes.
Very well. Reaches underneath the counter and puts a laminated paper menu in front of you.
Fancy.
I will send it to you on Discord. And then the halfling goes off and starts getting drinks and starts preparing
About how
some
much
stuff.
is like food? Like
So it is going to be It is going to be... Let me get the menu. Hold on. I have the actual menu for a Gold Dragon Inn here. So, tell you what, I'll post it in...
So fancy.
Party. Hopefully not post anything. There we go. Shablam.
Ooh. Oh, this is awesome.
Yep, it's laminated.
Totally laminated.
It's laminated.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh,
and
man, I
the
love
costs are at the bottom.
Substitute human.
The halfling hears you say that and says, actually quite delicious. I've only tried it once, though. We have it imported from a ways away. It's not necessarily the favorite around here.
Supreme cream.
But
Seems like everything's. Oh, jeez.
the halfling speaks up and says, these are what the franchises are required to have on the menu, but of course Gabriel here knows of all the local additions. And the halfling turns around after receiving a large platter of something and says, and where will you be sitting? As you see, there's a huge roasted sheep's head on a plate with vegetables and garnishes all around it. And it smells amazing. It almost has like a Mediterranean spice roasted smell to it.
I look around. Is there like a nice table for 5?
Yeah, there's like super long wooden, like Viking style tables. And there's probably like 10 of them in here. It's very big cafeteria.
I guess over there. And I'll point to an empty one.
Sure. And the halfling brings that over, comes back, gets the fish, brings that over, and then sets down all of, sets down Marstone's ale of choice. And then turns to you, Gabriel, just assuming that you will be paying for it.
Yeah.
And just says, for a Templar, it'll just be 10 silver.
Are we doing 100 silver equals a gold?
We're doing it canonically, so it's 10s.
Okay. So, I'll give him 15.
All right. Halfling says, thank you very much. Make sure to feed some to the raptors.
I look at the halfling, and I wave him over, like real haughty, and I say, I'll have the forbidden fruit. Thanks, Gabe.
No,
Appreciate you covering this.
No, he won't.
Oh, that was good.
The halfling points to you. Very funny. I like this one, and turns around and sees there's already a couple people waiting, and they look busy again.
Once the halfling has kind of made his way away from the table, I'll slide 2 silver pieces across to Gabe.
No. This is my pleasure. I got a lot of you into this mess, and it's unfortunate that some of the Silver Flame view each one of you differently. So allow me to show just a very small token.
I slide the pieces back into my pouch. And I sip on my nightwood ale.
What did you talk with them about when you were alone, Gabriel?
Well, a lot of it was why I travel with you all. And it's very simple. I think that each one of you has, at least have shown, great resistance to corruption and evil, and a willingness to destroy it.
Do we have a plan? Are we going somewhere? Are we staying here? if we are staying here, I would like to meet more of my kind.
As long as we stay in this town for at least a little bit. You know, I do have a letter from somewhere, but the bishop said that I'll receive it later. For now, I think we should just relax. You know, maybe sharpen our blades. I'm kind of like scanning over the group, and I see that like Darrow has like nothing.
He just got like his clothes basically in his
Yeah.
pack. Yeah.
Got robbed, man.
Did they take your stuff, Darrow?
I don't know. They were nice, and they brought me into their tent, and there's some kind of initiation thing to be part
Wait,
of the
tent?
shifters. Yeah, outside. You know,
I,
the tent
I
with the
roll my
cat
eyes.
dude.
I tried warning you. I said that they're thieves and they would pickpocket you whenever they had the chance.
I mean, it seemed nice enough, and they said that they were gonna initiate me into the shifters. They're my people.
I shovel some food in my mouth. Yeah, most people are pretty nice to you before they rob you.
Well,
Or
I'll
they
see if I can
swindle you.
find it. I'll see if I can find my stuff.
Why don't we take the night, and then tomorrow, Eldust has got a great bazaar, and perhaps we can find you something better.
You know what I'd really like to find? Is my magic stick.
Oh, Darrow, you lost a stick?
Yeah.
We went to such lengths to get it.
I know.
Where'd you lose it?
So I guess one of the shifters stole it from me.
Oh, point me at the direction. I'm gonna go get it.
They're
No.
freaking thieves.
It's unacceptable.
Last time we went there, that's why we got shipped into the cathedral.
Unacceptable. Oh yeah, and I'll have the slithering rice plays with the berry bear. Thank you. Yeah, this is not something that I will stand for as I'm sitting.
I just shake my head.
Well, I'd rather not get too comfortable in this town.
Yeah, me either. These people are shady as heck.
Besides, I saw, at least I believe I saw, the same horse that we saw near Orethon Keep, leaving by the northeast gate.
When? I kind of like choke on my food.
Not more than a few minutes before entering the Gold Dragon.
They mentioned an imposter.
An imposter.
Somebody potentially from Karnath.
Slanderous. I kind of rage drink.
Gulp, gulp, gulp.
Slanderous cur.
Which kind of brings up a rather touchy subject. I've been honest with you. I've shared the battlefield with you. So, all I expect in return is just an honest answer. Were you
Ask your
involved?
question, Templar.
Were you involved in the resurrection of soldiers
Never.
to...
He cuts you off right there.
Mhm.
Never.
I'm not even going to insight, so I'm just going to look at him and nod.
I didn't think so, but I trust you.
Marstone kind of, after meeting Gabriel's gaze for just a few seconds, kind of shifts it away, kind of uncomfortably, and then looks into his empty flagon.
I
need
look up.
another.
Yeah, I look up and point and say, he needs another.
Before you even see the halfling, you go to raise your hand, and you're startled because the halfling is on your other side already with another mug of ale. And sets the mug of ale down.
Is he mounting the raptor the entire time?
No, it is actually a female halfling.
Uh-huh.
And she puts the mug of ale down, and as she does, you see a dragon mark on her arm. And she puts the mug of ale down near you, Marstone, and says, "Will anybody be having anything else?"
Besides, no forbidden fruit, please.
I'll take it off the menu just for you.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. I understand.
As I kind of like shift around my coin purse to like feel my money, like, okay, there's definitely no way.
The halfling goes over to K1, who I imagine you're sitting down, K1?
Yes, I am. Got my hands on my lap and just standing there,
Right.
still looking around and following with my eyes the raptor, actually.
Sure. There are two small, tiny, they're like baby raptors. One is blue, one is red. And they both have little tiny brown saddles on them. And collars and tags. And they're just going around to tables. And as you look around, you see that there is... actually, I'll save that for a sec. The halfling jumps onto the seat, the bench next to you, K1, and puts her arm up next to your head. And then puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Ah, look! I've got one too, just like you." Pats you on the shoulder and then gets down. And then starts to walk away.
I'm gonna look towards the group and tilt my head to the side. I assume she's referring to the thing I have on my forehead.
The dragon mark, yes.
Does she have the same one?
Was it the same? Or was she Galanda?
It looked like a Galanda mark.
Okay. No. A different house. A different family.
Oh. Seems just slightly disappointed. And look back at the raptors.
If anybody stared at the dragon mark, you can roll a history check if you want. If you would be interested and want to know more.
Just in general on the dragon mark
15.
itself?
Yeah, Zyxx, the mark intrigues you, but you haven't seen that one before. It's very interesting.
Gotcha.
Very interesting. But you assume it helps them do something better.
And that is it's on a halfling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does 15 do anything?
Yeah. You've heard of this dragon mark before. Maybe from your family growing up or something like that. They've told you about different dragon marks, and this one is, you think it's a mark of hospitality?
Guys,
That's a thing. Yep.
I've seen this mark before. My parents showed it to me on the farm.
Were one of your parents dragon marked?
No. But they had this old history book that they always made me study, and I hated it. But the mark, if I can remember correctly, is the mark of hospitality. That's all I really remember.
Marstone is just like slowly nodding at him, like, yes, good Darrow.
Well, it makes sense, you know. They're very nice. And they take care of their customers very well.
K1, you feel something nudge at your side.
I look to my side.
There's a little raptor, blue raptor, looks up to you with puppy dog eyes, closes its mouth, and seems to frown a little bit. Little tiny T-Rex arms. It's maybe only stands like 2 feet tall.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I tear a piece of
So cute.
like is it like what kind of food's on the table? 'Cause you said they brought a
Sheep's
platter.
head in your local fish.
Okay. So I tear a little bit of rainbow trout off and hand it over to K1. Go ahead, feed it to it.
As he looks at me, and
The raptor sits.
as he looks at me and is handing me the meat, I'm already like going to touch the raptor with my finger.
Mm-hmm.
Be gentle.
I just pop it in the nose,
It closes
then-
its eyes and you boop it.
and then I grab the meat from Gabriel and very awkwardly like turn and offer it to the creature in front of me.
Okay. You just kind of like hold it there in place?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It looks a little bit confused. It looks like it's waiting for you to let go of it, maybe. It's just looking at it, wagging its
Okay.
little like it doesn't even have a long tail. It's got kind of like a Yoshi tail.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it right on top of him and
Okay.
let it go.
Okay. You drop it and then he brushes against you again, K1, and kind of it almost seems like a draconic purr, basically, where he rubs against you and makes a noise like I can't even do it.
Yep, fair enough. I got it. I got cats.
But
I
makes a
kinda eye
couple.
the raptors, and I thumb the whistle. That's all.
Okay.
Interesting.
Makes
This
another.
creature seems to be happy when we feed it.
Yeah. Makes another
Thank
noise and
you
then
all.
goes to a different table.
Fair enough.
It's pretty much just a gimmick where they get you to order more food. That way they get more money, but it keeps them happy.
But it's so cute. I'm like scratching it.
Also,
Until
Gabriel.
they grow up, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gabriel, you would know, like, raptors and dinos there are none of them in Thrain. Like, they're in like the Talenta Plains, but that's like on the other side of the Mournland. It's like a long ways away, so this is a huge tourist attraction.
It's a
And they're
very rare
babies.
sight to see these.
Interesting. Are there more of these around? Bigger? Maybe?
Here? No, not that I know of. They might keep the adults somewhere, but from what I've read, the larger they get, the more aggressive they get.
Can I cast animal friendship on it?
Oops, sorry, I was muted. You can do whatever you want, Darrow. It's D&D, baby.
I just don't want to waste our time, but I'm gonna just cast animal friendship on it, and it lets us convince a beast that we mean it no harm, and it charms it. If its intelligence is 4 or higher, the spell automatically fails.
Okay.
But otherwise, the beast must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be charmed by you for the spell's duration.
Okay.
If me or one of my companions harms it, the spell ends.
What's the stat?
Wisdom saving throw.
But you said it automatically fails if what?
Oh, if he gets harmed by...
No, there was like
No,
a
it's-
The
Oh,
intelligence.
I'm sorry, intelligence.
intelligence. Okay.
Or higher.
Okay.
4 or higher, yep.
Okay. Bear with me one moment. What does it look like when you do that, though?
So as
Wait. Do you have a spellcasting focus right now?
Oh, I think that was your stick.
It was, yeah.
Oh no.
If I recall correctly from us making your character, it was embedded in your weapon, was it not?
Oh, it's the tooth of my wolf,
Which you also don't have.
which I don't have.
So you go to cast something, and you just look at your hands, and you remember everything.
Oh man. All right.
Darrow, you seem to be extremely calm for a person that has lost the magical stick.
I'm used to living without.
This was important to you, was it not?
The stick was very important to me. I don't know where I'd even start to try to find it. Wait.
I don't believe the Templars took anything from us. I actually still have my gun, which means that they probably didn't take your stuff either.
I'm still eating, but yeah,
No.
It's-
Yeah, it was definitely the shifters.
definitely the shifters outside.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely.
I tried warning them, but
Do I remember the shifter that I saw outside? There's probably no way for me to try to track him down, is there?
There's a way to do anything, Caleb.
Mm-hmm.
D&D, baby.
I want to do that. I want to try to track him down because I got to get my stick.
Who's him?
That shifter that I saw outside.
There were a lot of them. I don't know if you remember that session. That's
He
a
had
lot.
No,
I think
earlier.
you're talking about the one that's at the stables.
The stables.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to track him down. You know where he works.
Yeah. Okay. I want to go talk to him.
Sure. Right now, or
Does
just
anybody want to? Oh, well, we don't have to do it right now.
We can like
Does it
finish
say-
our meal and do that.
Yeah, I want. Does anybody want to come with me so we could like beat some sense into this dude?
I'm right behind you, my friend.
I have questions.
We literally just got out of trouble. Are you talking about beating people?
I want my stick.
Who said anything about Darrow?
Darrow just
What?
said he wants to beat somebody down.
Why would you want to beat somebody?
Because I'm gonna beat information out of this guy.
There are more civilized ways of obtaining information.
What? Torture?
Money.
What is
Where
wrong
are you
with you?
from?
Why are you perpetuating this
raised-
shifter
You were raised by
racism?
people who were hot.
I'm just mad at these shifters.
You yourself are a shifter.
Yeah, but I didn't grow up with shifters.
I told you they're squirrely, but there could be other ways around this.
There are several other ways.
Let me.
Come
No.
with me
Well, when we
and
were
hold
leaving,
me back.
just hold on. When we were hurrying into the town, there were several Templar that had shifters in custody. Now, they might have taken your stuff, and it could be in a holding. So we just go and we can ask. We don't have to start
Wait.
a perpetual circle of being out of trouble, then getting back into trouble, and out of trouble, and then back into trouble.
If
Gabriel, you'll only get in trouble if you get caught.
That's exactly right.
We're going
no,
to
That's
get
why
caught.
you're my best friend.
you're going to get caught. We've been in trouble once before. They're no doubt keeping an incredibly close eye on us.
But I mean, not me. So
Listen,
Exactly.
I know that you two have lived in the woods for however many years that you've been around, but in this kind of society, we talk things out.
I think we were gonna go talk to them, but we were gonna use the language that they understand, which is, a good punch to the face.
Common. They understand common.
Okay, yeah.
So are we going back outside to the tents to talk with the shifters that stole your stick, or not?
No, I want to go talk to the stable one first.
We're going to stop by the stables first. I have questions for him about the horse that left not long ago. And
Hey,
if that
K1.
doesn't lead to anything, Darrow,
then we beat them.
No. Then we visit the initiation tent.
And then we beat them.
No.
Oh.
Jazir may have a lead on your things. They were perhaps exotic enough to end up in his tent.
Yeah, exotic because the stick is magical. and
I'm
he knows
actually
it.
willing to bet that somebody has already burned the stick for firewood.
Ah, such a brutal
K1.
thing to say to another person.
I need you to do something for me. Turn on your flamey eyes, and so we can be a little bit intimidating to whoever we talk to.
Wait, it's not necessary. K1.
Please.
I don't understand what is happening. Let's go, please.
Before we leave, we should finish our meal and... Actually, I've got something for you to try, K1. And I'm gonna wave over one of the halflings, and I'm going to order K1 an ale.
Okay. They reluctantly get it. They ask for the silver piece.
I give it to him.
Yep, and then, yeah. They shrug their shoulders and say, enjoy. Marstone, as you push the ale over too, you smell tobacco.
Uh-oh.
Not exotic, beautiful tobacco, but like,
Matter. It's been
you know, like a, like a solid, like a pack of Marlboro Reds, you know, like a solid, like a middle ground, you know, it's like whatever, you go buy it. And it's coming from behind you, a table behind you.
Okay. It's, I don't bother them, but it serves as a reminder. Before the halfling leaves, I ask if there's any way that he or she could point me in the direction of someplace that I could purchase some. My pouch has been empty for 2 very, very long days.
So, what are you doing with the ale with K1 while I do that?
I'm just kind of pushing it over in front of him and telling him, try this. Have you ever consumed anything before?
I tried to get him to consume something a while ago, and he wouldn't do it.
We got to the realization that I do not need sustenance like you creatures do.
This is ale. Nobody needs ale.
No, I'm sorry?
Goblins need ale.
Goblins need ale. Another ale, please.
You say another ale, please, and when you look back at the table, there is a full mug of ale there.
Guys, this place is amazing.
Gold
And-
Dragon Inns are renowned.
The halfling like leaves your table as if literally teleporting there and then walking away, and then winks and clicks.
K1, this is not for sustenance, but I am curious whether or not you can taste and whether or not alcohol has intoxicating effects.
Speaking of which, Zyxx, make a con save.
On it.
Interesting.
Maybe we can set an example for K1 right now.
21.
Nope.
I'm gonna.
Zyxx pounds it and then smiles. Like it's water.
I'm gonna grab it and put it close to my face. I can smell it because I can smell.
Yeah, we've established that your unit can smell. Yeah.
And
You want to find out if your unit can taste?
I notice how they are taking sips of this. So
You're smart.
I'm gonna follow suit and take a sip.
Can your lips like perch?
Nope.
Nope.
Sounds like a toddler. It's like,
Yeah, it's just an open hole and you try to get it in. Yep.
It's either like dropping out the side of his mouth or he's got to kick his mouth back.
Pretty much.
Okay. So
I
here,
like to think that he's doing it the first way, like us, and it's just falling out of his mouth.
yeah, corners of the mouth. Yep.
shoving the drink in his face.
So K1, this is exciting. Does K1 have the ability to taste?
We're gonna let the dice decide.
Cool.
Yeah.
But there's a trade-off.
Ooh.
Because if K1 can taste, K1 can get intoxicated.
K1 is resistant to poison and immune to disease. So I would say yes. So let's see. 1
Get
to
him
10.
drunk.
1 to 10, he can taste. He can.
You taste for the first time as the liquid travels down maybe a tube that you haven't used in a while. The bubbling, carbonated liquid goes down and sensors start going off in your head, sending signals. And everything is so vivid. There's floral scents and tastes. There's a deep, rich, malty, brewed taste, deep caramel, almost chocolate. It's almost like just your taste buds are diving down into like a rainbow tunnel of flavors, and it's intoxicating immediately. Being your first drink, I do need you to make a con save though.
Yes, sir.
Marstone is buzzing.
It's a natural 1.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
The
Okay.
dice won this.
Okay, so for
It's got
right
a
now,
terrorist
K1, for right now, you
K1,
are
I'm so
starting
proud.
to almost magically experience the sensation of joyfulness, of happiness. Almost like there's a spell being cast on you that it makes it impossible for you to be unhappy right now. As K1 pours the liquid down his face, it dribbles off the corners of his metal mouth, and K1 turns back, eyes widened, glowing, and a smile appears.
Well, this is good. Strange, but good. Is there more?
Oh yes.
Jeez.
Let's get the
I'm
child drunk.
like fascinated. I'm fascinated. I've seen Warforged that can do this before, but like this particular one that I know nothing about, knowing this now is exciting information to Marstone, especially because Marstone himself is now a little bit buzzed.
I'm curious about something.
Well then, let's get more. I say as I put the tanker down, hitting the table.
That smell, Marstone, gets a little stronger. As a gnome woman gets up from the table, comes over to your table with a small, tiny little pipe, has almost like a cowboy hat on, and a black overcoat, and very dressy pants. And this gnome is obviously adult, but very, very small, and is smoking this pipe. And she comes over, and she has a little journal under her armpit area, and then kind of joins the table and says, "Excuse me, can that Warforged drink?"
Yes, of course.
That's unbelievable. Do you mind if I write a story about you? She looks
look
at
at
K1.
Yeah.
This little gnome, she gets the notebook out. Do you mind?
Is he talking to me? She
Uh-huh.
talking to me? Oh. I tilt my head to the side as I look at her and look around for another tankard. Are you writing about me?
I'd like to. Is that okay?
Yes, my name is K1.
Okay.
What's yours?
Okay. All right. Oh, you can call me Sips.
Dips.
Okay.
Yeah, she reaches her hand out to you, K1. She says, Sips Johansson, Kornberg Chronicle.
I am K1, and that is it for now.
Well, I was hoping you'd answer a few questions. I'd like to write an article about you and send it back to Sharn, if that's all right. I'll even buy you another beer.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure thing. Another ale for this extraordinary Warforged, please. And they bring you over another mug of ale.
All right, I'll take it. And
I look over at Marstone.
There's a slight smile on my face.
Has anybody's character heard of the Kornberg Chronicle before? You can make a history check if you think you would.
Maybe. Depends on how far it reaches.
It does
15.
reach. Yeah. Yeah, say both of you. So the Kornberg Chronicle is kind of like Khorvaire's like E. They do like lots of like gossipy and maybe they twist stories that are actually quite boring to try to make them really sensationalized and interesting.
I kind of speak up. Perhaps another time. Can't you see that we're in the middle of eating?
She turns to you, K1, and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you belong to this Templar?"
I don't belong to anyone.
All right. Well, would you like to do the interview?
Yes, I would like.
All right. Okay.
I look towards Gabriel very slowly.
I'm just shaking my head no.
Marstone is doing the same.
I'm gonna look back at her and just listen to her.
Okay. So, while this is happening, are you guys just all listening intently in, or would you guys like to do something else? She's not like taking him anywhere. She's just kind of like leaning in and asking him some questions and then like writing stuff down.
I can't not scratch the itch any longer. Sips,
Oh,
would you mind if I borrowed a pinch of your tobacco?
if it'll buy me 10 more minutes with this extraordinary Warforged friend of yours, then of course. She takes out a tobacco pouch,
Okay.
gives you some.
While she's busy with him, I'm gonna lean over to K1.
Okay.
You don't have to answer any questions that you don't want to.
Okay.
So don't
I
feel
don't think
obligated.
she means any harm.
She might not, but that's her job. It could twist your story. People could come looking for you.
Okay.
She comes back after giving the thing. She says, "All right then. Where did you grow up, Warforged?"
I don't know.
Okay.
Talking to me, I don't know.
There's like a soft chuckling as I'm lighting this pipe.
I'm just like enthralled.
Yeah, Marstone, like I said, it's not great, but it scratches the itch.
Yeah, exactly. And I already know that like a lot of this from K1 is gonna be basically that. So I'm just kind of chuckling that I just got tobacco for nothing.
Gotcha. All right. And she says, and when did you find out that you could taste? And what other cool things can you do?
About 3 minutes ago, and I can.
Wow. What other cool things can you do?
I can walk in the ceiling, and I
Okay.
can shoot lasers out of my hands.
Okay.
I'm gonna lift my hand slowly, and the fingers are gonna detach, and it's gonna start vibrating, and lighting's gonna spark, and then I'm gonna turn it off, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like perking up in my seat.
Yeah, we're both like,
K1, I need you to
Yes.
make a d20 roll.
Ooh.
Roll high, please.
Nope, I can't. It's a 5. Do I shoot it? This is what the roll is for?
Roll damage for that spell.
If I notice that I'm losing the grip on the spell, and that's gonna go, can I use my chronal shift to try to pulling back time?
I'll tell you what. Because here's the thing. You are highly intoxicated.
I am.
And of course you say, well, if I had known, then I wouldn't have done it. So here's what we'll do, because you can use your chronal shift. So what we'll do...
What I mean is, I shoot the spell.
Mm-hmm.
But can I, like, turn... Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I understand.
So
what you mean.
roll for me another d20.
Okay.
If you get higher than a 5, then it fires, but you use your chronal shift and no one realizes that it fires.
Okay, it's a 12.
Okay, so yeah, there's like a brief moment where everyone gets up at the table and panics, and then all of a sudden everyone's just sitting down again.
Yeah,
but you kind of know.
As you gaze towards K1, his blades are splitting a little bit from his body, and his face is splitting a little bit from his body, and he's emanating white mist for a few seconds.
The gnome steps back a little bit, writes a bunch of stuff down, and just says, well, you've been quite wonderful. You said your name was K1?
Yes.
Wonderful. And is it okay if I use what you've said in my story?
As long as you don't lie about it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And she nods and she leaves the Gold Dragon Inn a little bit hurriedly.
That feels like a bad omen.
Yeah.
You feel great, K1.
She seems nice, and she got me another beer. I say while I chug.
One of K1's lights in his eyes flickers a little bit as he smiles. As he smiles at you all.
This guy's shut down.
Perhaps I've made an error.
No, this is great.
No, you did not. I am fine.
He's fine.
I like this liquid.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it, buddy?
It is good, buddy. Yes.
Yeah.
At this point, the door to the Gold Dragon Inn slams open. And a woman walks in and yells, "Are there any Templars in here?"
Yeah, this guy's one. I point at Gabe.
Yeah, I turn my head and stand up, wiping my mouth with.
She
my
says,
napkin.
"Come on, a shifter's killing people in the street!" And that's where we're gonna leave today's session.
Dadgummit! Dadgummit!
What? Darrow is useless in this fight.
So,
Wait, I think you could still shift.
thank you.
No, you can't use any magic. So.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll go back to, hold on, see the cam. I'm gonna give a little extra to the crowd in the recording here, so you guys go up to post. We'll go over to pre-D&D here. I don't know if the camera's working or not. It is! Hello, everybody on the stream / the recording. Thanks for watching. Not this. Ignore this. Listen, had a long week. Episode 8 of the Mighty Dungeon Eberron. Our first episode in a town / city. And this is where I tell you guys secrets about the next episode that the players don't get to know about. So as the woman runs in yelling, just outside the Gold Dragon Inn, a very large shifter from the tent city had been arrested and brought in towards the cathedral. But a distraction was attempted to be made in order to save this brute shifter. Tension rose. Things got heated. And the shifter has slashed out at one of the Templar guards, causing a scene in the middle of the street. With everyone being on edge, the group just getting out of trouble, and there being a shifter in the group, will they get involved and help? Or will they stand back and just let it happen? We'll see you for the next episode. Mighty Dungeon, Eberron. Thank you for watching. Thanks for coming to live stream. Twitch.tv/. We're going to maybe do it on the Mighty Dungeon. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I don't know how to end the recording and not see. Fuck. All right. Bye-bye. There it is.